LR, the liberal redneck here, looking into the concept of presidential immunity and how it might affect former President Trump in his many legal cases before many different courts. Neither civil nor criminal immunity is explicitly granted in the Constitution or any federal statute, which makes the concept fall into a particularly gray area. The Supreme Court of the United States found in Nixon versus Fitzgerald, 1982, that the president has absolute immunity from civil damages actions regarding conduct within the outer perimeter of their duties. However, in Clinton versus Jones, 1997, the court ruled against temporary immunity for sitting presidents from suits arising from pre-presidency conduct. Some scholars have suggested an immunity from arrest and criminal prosecution as well, a view which has become the practice of the Department of Justice under a pair of memoranda from 1973 and 2000 from the Office of Legal Counsel. Presidents Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump were criminally investigated while in office, but none was prosecuted while in office. No court has ever ruled on the matter of criminal immunity. The Constitution of the United States grants legislative immunity to members of Congress through the speech or debate clause, but has no explicit comparable grant for the president. Early American politicians, including those at the Constitutional Convention, were divided as to whether such immunity should even exist. In 1978, whistleblower A. Ernest Fitzgerald added former President Nixon to his suit against several officials involved in his firing from the Department of the Air Force. This resulted in the collateral appeal, Nixon versus Fitzgerald, 1982, in which the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a former or current president was absolutely immune from suit regarding acts within the outer perimeter of his duties, citing the president's unique status under the Constitution. A four-justice dissent objected to a scope that included willful violations of the Constitution and would have given immunity only to certain functions of the presidency, insurrection not being one of those certain functions. The several civil cases against Trump in the district and appeals courts in Washington, D.C. for his role in the violence of January 6, 2021 are pending and will likely influence the criminal cases elsewhere. The appeals court panel ruled on December 1st, 2023, that the district trial court was correct in dismissing the broad presidential immunity claims made by Trump. It all comes down to how will the conservative majority in the Supreme Court react when faced with deciding in favor of the rule of law or yielding instead to their political philosophy. The Supreme Court of the United States is the highest court in the federal judiciary of the United States. It has ultimate appellate jurisdiction over all federal court cases and over state court cases that involve a point of U.S. constitutional or federal law. It also has original jurisdiction over a narrow range of cases, specifically all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, and those in which a state shall be a party. The court holds the power of judicial review, the ability to invalidate a statute for violating a provision of the Constitution. It is also able to strike down presidential directives for violating either the Constitution or statutory law. However, it may act only in the context of a case in an area of law over which it has jurisdiction. The court may decide cases involving political overtones, but has ruled that it does not have the power to decide non-justicable political questions. Granting Trump total presidential immunity would absolutely violate that ruling. Will they or won't they? That is the question. Thanks for listening, and remember, always vote blue.